we in the research team and the editorial team were talking about the competition that comes in for a Zomato because of the strengthening of some of its peers and the fundraising that, say, for example, Swiggy is doing, what some of the other companies in that space are doing. Infurge, of course, much more than just a Zomato. But let's talk about all of that with the managing director of the company. Remember, Swiggy's acquired Scootsie, so that is the other bit that is happening in that space. Hitesh Oberoi, the MD and CEO at Info, joins us right now on the show. Hitesh, so good having you. Thanks so much for taking the time out. You know, in my office as well, there are a lot of people who use all of the three options available right now. And when you look at the business models of all of the three options right now, all of them are trying to make do with something or the other in order to stand out. Now, how competitive a landscape has the environment around Zomato become over the last 6 odd months? Because one is Swiggy acquiring Scootsie, but that's not all. They are raising money. Uber Eats is now spreading its wings as well. And while you arguably remain the leader, how competitive has the landscape become?
Well, India is a growing market. I mean, just to give you some statistics, Zomato was, they had 1,500 delivery boys a year back working for them. Now they have 45,000. So the numbers have grown phenomenally over the last few months. Zomato is, of course, much more than food delivery. They have a restaurant listings and review business. They have international presence, and they're also into food delivery. But it's a growing market. If you look at China, India is just sort of getting started. I think the Indian market is maybe 1/10 or 1/20th of what the Chinese market is today in terms of size. So you know, we have a long way to go, and of course you will see a lot of competition because it's a huge market and nobody wants to give up in a hurry.
Interesting. Hitesh, so tell me, since you mentioned that, when you look at the growth prospects for a Zomato, and I understand that it's a lot more than food delivery. I mean, beyond it all, I'm a Zomato Gold member myself, and a very happy one, I might add. My question to you is, when you look at the size of a business like Zomato 5 years out, do you envisage it to be multiple times what it is right now, purely because of the scope available within those 2 or 3 categories that Zomato caters to?
No, absolutely. I mean, growth in Zomato has been on a tear for the last few months. And the company is investing more and more in its business. Like I said, they're expanding to new cities. They're hiring more delivery boys. They're adding new products and services. I think food habits are changing. People are sort of ordering in more often. People are eating out more often. So it's a sort of mega trend as well as far as the Indian economy is concerned. As incomes grow, people want to spend, and there aren't too many other avenues to spend in India. So people end up splurging a lot on going to malls, eating out, ordering in. So I think it's a long-term trend, and the market is only going to explode going forward. Companies like Zomato and Swiggy are just getting started in our view.
How has work been overall for the business, Hitesh? I mean, we'll be, of course, talking to you post your quarterly numbers as well. But now a lot more names or associate companies or partly owned subsidiaries which were never in the realms of conversation until a couple of quarters ago are right out there. How is business shaping up by and large?
It seems like, I mean, again, these are very early days, but it seems like the overall economic outlook is improving a little bit. And as you know, our 2 big businesses are jobs and real estate, and they're both indexed to the Indian economy. And as the Indian economy improves, these businesses will improve a lot faster. We've seen healthy growth in jobs over the last few months. Even the dust and the storm around IT companies has settled down. IT companies are also hiring now. They are at least hiring a lot more than they were hiring maybe a year or a year and a half ago. And even in real estate, we have 99 acres that's been doing really well for the last 6-8 months. Growth has sort of been in 30-40% range. And that is also because the real estate market is also sort of maybe not out of the dumps, but at least not declining anymore. Issues like demonetization, GST, RERA are now firmly behind us. And so we are very confident, of the prospects of the company. But of course, the GDP sort of growth has to sort of stay at these levels or get better from here on.
I was actually going to wind up with that question, Hitesh. You would arguably be a lead indicator and not a lag indicator of this. The 8.2% print on GDP, has it already started showing in your I mean, when you chat with your vertical heads or each of these businesses, have they already started showing signs of that traction? And is the expectation that during the close of the year, the trends are looking a lot more stronger than they have looked in the last 18 to 24 to 36 months?
Well, anecdotally, yes. So when we speak to our salespeople, they are a lot more confident than they were maybe a year ago. Like I said, issues like GST. I mean, last year Q1 was impacted because of the GST rollout. Demonetization had an impact on the business for a few quarters. There was confusion because of RERA as well, especially on the real estate side of our business for a few months. Because there was a lack of clarity on who was allowed to advertise and who was allowed to launch projects and so on and so forth. So all these issues are now behind us. And therefore things are beginning to look up a little bit is what it looks like. Of course, one has to watch out for the macroeconomic situation. That may be getting a little sort of out of hand. We don't know. But yes, anecdotally, when we speak to our sales teams, when we speak to our customers, they sound a lot more bullish than they were a year ago, both in jobs and in real estate.
Which is so good to know. And if the ancillary businesses contribute, then it might be a really good year for Info Edge. We certainly hope so. Hitesh Oberoi, thank you so much for taking the time out, giving us that quick lowdown. We look forward to talking to you post your quarterly numbers as well.